God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good.
This simple configuration shoots particles of light called photons, one at a time, through two tiny slits in a screen. Photons travel one by one, some through this slit, some through that slit. You would expect them to leave a pattern of two stripes on the wall, and you would be wrong. They mysteriously create a band of stripes. This is what you would expect to see if a constant beam of light shined through the two slits. It would spread across the wall like a wave. So how can single bullet-like particles of light create a wave pattern? This could only happen if the particles go through both slits at the same time. In other words, the particle is in two places at once. But strangest of all is what happens when you put detectors next to the slits. When the photons are being watched, the wave pattern disappears. Take away the detectors and the wave pattern comes back. This suggests that we can change the way reality behaves just by looking at it.
Albert Einstein once asked, if a person such as a mouse looks at the universe, does that change the state of the universe? Whenever Einstein and Niels Bohr met, there was one question they always discussed passionately. Can the properties of an atomic particle be measured without disturbing it? Einstein believed it was possible. At the Solvay Congress in 1930, he wanted to show Bohr how. By means of this apparatus, he claimed it would be possible to register the precise moment at which a single particle of light was emitted from a small opening in the side of the box, and at the same time measure its weight. But the next morning, Bohr returned triumphantly. Einstein had forgotten to take his own theory of relativity into account. Clocks are affected by gravity. But Einstein wasn't satisfied. He couldn't accept Bohr's claim that it was impossible to measure the properties of an atomic particle without disturbing it. This would mean, he felt, that we shall never be able to obtain a complete picture of physical reality.
If a person, such as a mouse, looks at the universe, does that change the state of the universe?
Einstein wanted to demonstrate that it was possible to perceive a part of physical reality without its being disturbed by the measuring apparatus. Einstein claimed that all events have a local cause.
Local causality is the idea that what we do here in this region of space has no immediate effects in a distant region of space. In fact, it has no effects until a lapse of time which is limited by the velocity of light. Now, this was an important principle in Einstein's relativity. There's one to which he was strongly attached, and it is one which is not present in quantum mechanics, because quantum mechanics doesn't give you this analysis of the world into different space-time regions. The whole thing is treated as a unified thing, and Bohr insisted very strongly on the indivisible nature of quantum phenomena. If two particles had interacted and separated, they were still one system, and it was wrong from Bohr's point of view to try to think of how to divide it up into something happening in this space-time region and something happening in that space-time region.
Bohr emphasized that our ideas and concepts are rooted in our everyday experience. We are therefore incapable of forming a picture of the atomic world. Strangely enough, Bohr refrained from refuting the paradoxical consequences of quantum mechanics as described by Einstein. He believed that the two particles should be understood as a unified system. We have to do with a wholeness that is completely foreign to classical physics, he said.
Both quantum mechanics and relativity suggest the world is not made of separate elements, but it is an unbroken whole in flowing movement. The image of that would be a flowing water. If you had vortices in this water, each vortex may be thought of as separate, but really they merge together. There's never any separation, right?
So as you go through life, remember this: as you attempt to exert your free will, God gave us light and said, "It is good." Enjoy.